Hello, welcome to the JodoCast. At the beginning of May, I decided that at the end of each month I wanted to start releasing news roundup videos of that month's Star Wars gaming news, because that's what we're about, Star Wars gaming, and news happens and I want to be able to share the news with people. Given everything that's happening in the world, it all feels pretty silly and pointless to be making news about Star Wars gaming. I'm going to try and do it anyways, because it's what I wanted to do each month, and maybe one day it'll feel less weird. So if you're like me and you are privileged enough that you can afford to tune out the madness of the world every now and then to indulge in your hobbies, then here's all the news in the Star Wars gaming world that happened in May. Star Wars Talisman got announced. Talisman is a popular board game. OP or OP games from USopoly are releasing a Star Wars version of Talisman. This won't be available in North America because licensing stuff. We have a decent amount of news from the upcoming most exciting video game release of this year, Lego Star Wars, the Skywalker Saga. We had a release date, but then we lost it. The Star Wars YouTube channel released their weekly news video, and in it they announced that the release date for the game was going to be October 20th, and then they took the video down and re-uploaded it without the date. So October 20th could be the real date. It's possible they just weren't ready to announce it yet. Maybe it's getting delayed farther. There's no official release date, but they did say October 20th, so it's probably going to be somewhere around there. It looks like if you pre-order the game at Best Buy, you'll get a steel book that looks like Lego Han Solo and Carbonite, which is awesome. I've only bought games digitally for a long time. This is very tempting to make me want to get another physical copy of a video game. StarWars.com had an interview with the head of production and strategic director at Telltale Games and the managing producer at Lucasfilm Games about the game. There's close to 500 characters in the game, they announced, which is quite a lot and exciting. Not unexpected for a new Star Wars Star Wars Lego game. They do confirm that Yaddle is a playable character in the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, so that's probably reason enough to buy it if you weren't already convinced. ILM X Lab announced that Vader Immortal, their kind of flagship VR game that was on the Oculus Quest, is coming to PlayStation VR. So there are now going to be 2 ways to play this game. This PlayStation VR less prohibitively expensive than Oculus. I've heard it's good, so maybe if you have a PlayStation, if you already have VR, you're set. If you don't, maybe this will convince you to pick it up. I don't know. It's coming out sometime this summer. ILM X Lab also has announced a new VR experience, Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, which I guess is just going to have you running around the Disneyland Resort in VR, which I guess is cool because, like, I'm assuming most of us, especially now, can't go. So there's a new VR experience coming out there. So if you're like one of the 10 people who have Oculus, you'll be able to try this out too. Not surprising anyone, Jedi Fallen Order is confirmed to be the start of a new franchise. We all kind of expected this. We all knew they'd be working on a sequel. There'll be at least one more game, probably more, which is good and exciting because Fallen Order was one of the best Star Wars games in a long time. In other Fallen Order news, May saw a new update for the game. If you haven't picked it up in a while, now's a good time to do it because it's gotten a new update with sort of a new game plus mode. It doesn't let you carry over your skills, but it lets you carry over all your cosmetics if you want to start over. There's a new arena where you can just kind of set up combat encounters however you like, which is pretty neat. And a few other like minor changes. The only tabletop news this month is that Fantasy Flight has announced it's an open alpha. It's not complete. Basically solo play rules for playing X-Wing 2nd Edition, which is cool because you should probably be at home not going out, and if you've been needing to play X-Wing, you can try play this new solo thing. It basically has some AI rules for ships, and it's an alpha. Essentially, they recognize that there's so many niche corner cases in X-Wing, you might run into problems, and they want your feedback on it. So it actually seems pretty cool. Been thinking about trying it, even though I only have Rebels for X-Wing 2nd Edition. So I'd have to play Rebels versus Rebels, which isn't as fun, but in any case, it's cool. More games should have solo options, especially these days. The last thing, I'm going to include it in Star Wars gaming news because it is a game. Jedi Temple Challenge, the new Star Wars game show. It's essentially like Legends of the Hidden Temple, if you remember that, from the 90s, I think it was. This is a Star Wars game show for kids. It's a game, so I'm talking about it. It looks like it is probably going to be really fun if you're a kid. It's going to be on, I think, next week on the Star Wars Kids YouTube channel. Maybe in a couple days. It looks like it's promising. I don't know if I'll be into it, but it looks like they put a lot of heart and effort into it. That's all the Star Wars gaming news for May 2020. There are more important things going on right now than Star Wars gaming, but that's it. Stay safe.